that it is early wherever you are. I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad that you guys are here. I want to go ahead and have this conversation early because it was on my mind, and I thought about it as I was sleeping. And it's the kind of thing that a lot of times when I have something on my mind when I'm asleep, or when it's late at night, I usually carry that with me right into the morning. I want to get right on it. So what's going on, Socratic Skeptic? How you doing? What's going on, Tony C. Wright, Cleveland, Ohio? Let's go ahead and get started. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button if you haven't hit the thumbs up button. Also, as you know, we always do the city shout out. So shout out your business, shout out your city, your business, or your dream. Your city, your business, or your dream. Okay, so Tammy, let's see. Tammy says, Dr. Boyce, you're a fraud. Well, you are a fraud, asshole, because you're about to get put out of this channel. So goodbye, stupid. All right, so let's see here. Who am I looking for here? I'm looking for some of my black friends that want to roll through and not talk shit and not act like idiots. Let's see here. Just so you know, it comes with the territory. That's kind of how this game works. If you do something that is impactful, you're going to have idiots and assholes all around you. So let's see. I see Cheryl from Hawaii, Fa Hall from Mississippi. Let's see what's going on. Iceman 1500. Cheryl Mason, how are you? Good morning. The conciliary Don Juan DeMarco. What a name. Let's see. What's going on, Anthony? Now shout out your city, your business, or your dream. Your city, your business, or your dream. So everybody knows who you are and who you're repping and where you're from and all that good stuff. And we're going to talk about some really interesting conversations today because I actually want to talk about Nipsey Hussle for a minute. And this really kind of came to mind in terms of me watching and observing how the black community, how the world was responding to the death of Nipsey Hussle. I think that it was great for Nipsey to get the homegoing that he had. I think it was awesome that people showed that respect that he deserved. He's a guy that dared to be different. He was deeply committed to supporting his community. He was deeply committed to a different message. I started listening to his music, a lot more. I'm like a lot of people, honestly. I didn't know much about Nipsey's music until he passed, and it's kind of an unfortunate thing that a lot of us have to own up to. Is that a lot of times we don't give people their flowers till they're dead. I don't think Tupac and Biggie would be loved the way they are if they hadn't died. There's something emotional about black people where, because death is so traumatic for us, that's the time where we try to right the wrongs that we never would have righted in life. That's where we try to show appreciation for people. When we would have hung the phone up on them if they were alive. That's where we tell people we love them when you ain't said I love you for for 18 years or whatever. And I think that's something we gotta fix. I think that in fact, actually on my page, I went out of my way on my Instagram, which is the Real Voice Watkins. I went out of the way on my Instagram to make sure that I thank some of the rappers that came to mind that I appreciate, who are trying to change the narrative of what hip hop is doing to the black community. Hip hop has been harming black people for a really long time. Not all hip hop, but certain strands of hip hop. I'm talking about the bad strands, not the good strands, the bad strands. So I took the time to just publicly cite support and appreciation for guys like D1, Immortal Technique, David Banner, Killer Mike, and there are a few others, Vigilante out of Kansas City, and a few others, where I just said, thank you for your work. Thank you for your service. Just like you thank soldiers, who are out fighting for the country. I thank the rappers who are in there and having those battles against other rappers and saying, come on, man, elevate your game. Like T.I. did that with Lil Wayne. He actually took on Lil Wayne, which I thought was he took him on publicly, which I thought was really bold of him to do. I have a lot of respect for that. So anyway, let me see here. Natalie says, I'm interested to register at your school. Well, it's very easy to do. If you want to sign up, if you want to get started on our introductory class in the Black Business School, Introduction on Wealth Building, go to blackmoney101.com. That's blackmoney101.com. We teach for Black wealth. We teach how to build Black wealth. We don't really get into, other communities and other issues and other struggles. We are all about the Black struggle. All of our experts are focused on one thing, one goal, and that is to build Black family wealth in the U.S. and around the world. Is to build Black family wealth, which is to shut wealth gaps down globally. So it's not, you don't have to be in the United States to be a part of it, but being black does help because black people are first and foremost. So go to blackmoney101.com, or if you want to just download some digital lectures to kind of get started, you can go to drboycebundlepack.com. That's drboycebundlepack.com. Now, do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button. I'm going to shout out your cities that you hit the thumbs up button as we get started. I see Iceman 1500 from Charlotte, North Carolina. Ryan says, why does it take a rapper and not a politician to provide jobs? Boyce, did you know that he created 41,000 jobs? I did not know that. That I hope that that's true. That honestly sounds like it might be an exaggeration, but then again, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not going to say that I'm not wrong. 41,000 jobs is a hell of a lot of jobs, and I don't know that they have 41,000 people working in their marathon store. I'm sure there's other business ventures he's involved in and stuff like that, but 41,000 sounds like it might be a little bit of hero worship. But I'm not going to put nothing past nobody, and I don't want nobody thinking I'm a hater. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut that down right now and just say, okay, that sounds good. Sure, why not? If Donald Trump can throw out whatever stat he wants, then we can do the same thing here. But again, I would need to see how that was calculated, because 41,000 jobs. If somebody creates 41,000 jobs, usually they're a billionaire. Like you'd have to have billionaire status to create 41,000 jobs. Now, if it was 1,000 jobs or something like that, that's hard to do. I mean, think about 1,000 jobs. If you paid 1,000 people $50,000 a year, or let's say 1,000 people, 30,000 a year, even 1,000 low-paying jobs, that's $30 million a year. Now Nipsey Hussle, just being real with you, this ain't nothing. I know people take stuff and they want to twist it up and make it into disrespect. This ain't no disrespect. This is just me doing, I'm a mathematician, right? And I have an inability to absorb just information just because somebody gave it to me. And so again, if somebody creates 1,000 jobs that pay 30,000 a year, that's $30 million a year, right? 30 million a year. Nipsey was worth about 8 million, according to Celebrity Net Worth, and based on what the reports I've seen. If you're paying $30 million a year out in expenses to employees, chances are, again, you'd be worth at least 100 million, at least a couple hundred million, a quarter billion. Even guys like Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq is worth about 400 million, almost half a billion. I don't think Shaq has created 41,000 jobs. Tiger Woods is worth 800 million. He's going to be a billionaire very, very soon. I don't think he's created 41,000 jobs. Michael Jordan, actually, ironically, his net worth jumped from 360 million to 1.6 billion. Michael Jordan is already a billionaire, and I don't think he's created 41,000 jobs. 41,000 jobs is a lot of damn jobs. It's hard as hell to create 41 jobs, like 40, but let alone 41,000. But anyway, but I'm done with that. I'm not gonna get into that too much. New Jersey KRS-One still uplifting people. Yeah, KRS-One's one of the good ones. He's one of those guys that gets that should get mad respect. All right, so hit the thumbs up button. Shout out your city, your business, or your dream. Your city, your business, or your dream. Michael Vinal said he lives in Louisville, but not just Louisville, Kentucky. He lives in Fincastle. That's like around the corner from where I grew up, man. I used to ride my bike in Fincastle. So that's what's up, Michael. Nice to meet you. Simba is all the way from Johannesburg. All right, good to see you. Cheryl from Cleveland, her family landscaping business. I love it. My husband bought our first house with cash in 2010. Good for you, Erica. That's awesome. Great rise. It's sad. Black life is worthless around the world. Yeah, but it's valuable to us, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how other people value you. What matters is, do you value yourself? And that's our biggest problem. Is not that they don't value us. Our biggest problem is that they taught us to not value ourselves. That's where the real issue is. That's the real problem. Let's see. Shaq just bought 9 Papa John's in Atlanta. Yeah, Shaq owns like 155 Guys franchises. I didn't know that. Did you know he owns 10% of Five Guys? Five Guys is huge. Five Guys, shoot. If you a burger and fries type of person, anybody ever ate at Five Guys before, and just loved it? Tell me, raise your hand. Anybody else eat at Five Guys? I ain't gonna lie. I ate at Five Guys when I'm in an area and I'm looking for burgers and fries, and they tell me there's a Five Guys across the street. There's nothing else for me to talk about. There's nothing else to decide, because Five Guys is really, really good. So Shaq, he's making good moves, and he deserves respect for that. I rock with you. Maybe I was wrong. All love here. Okay, Ryan. Yeah, it is all love, man. It's not even like a me. I told you I ain't fight with no black people in 2019, man. So I'm glad you and I agree with each other. It's like this basic concept that some of us just don't understand, that you can disagree with other black people and still be very good friends. Like you're not going to agree 100% with anybody, and so I think that people, like I think that for example, there are political movements like the ADOS movement. I think that are not going to go as far as they could because people are so determined to fight. You got black people that just really want to attack other people and go off on other black people and destroy and discredit, and that's not healthy. I think that you should correct and you should elevate, you should build up. But this idea of attacking and discrediting is a problem. Like with the ADOS movement, I mean, the creator of the ADOS movement when it went out to try to discredit Farrakhan. She tried to discredit who else? Farrakhan. She tried to discredit Dr. Claude Anderson. She tried to discredit Talib Kweli. She tried to discredit Pan-Africanism as a whole. How do you discredit millions of Pan-Africanists around the world? Like, are you kidding me? Like, how are you trying to build a reparations movement when you literally, are going around telling people Pan-Africanism is dead? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. So basically, if we want to build anything, you got to go and find common ground. Look for that first before you look for a reason to fight. Because black people have been fighting for 400 years and it ain't got us anywhere. Let's see. Good morning, Stacy Betts from Chicago. Good to see you. This must be a pre-recording. I don't see any of the comments he's reading. Yeah, you don't see the comments because I'm live on multiple streams. And even if it was a recording, that doesn't mean that it's not going to be the same. The same things come out of my mouth, whether it's live or it's a recording. I don't know if you know this, but if I say it now and you watch the recording, you're going to hear the same thing people hear when it's live. So just so you know that. All right. So I learned a lot from Voice Watkins. I feel like if it's you, you will get it. If it's for you, you will get it. That's true. That's true, Nubian Queen. I agree. Everybody's brain don't work the same. So anyway, let me go into the Nipsey Hussle thing and my argument on this. Hit the thumbs up button. Please, if you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please hit the thumbs up button. It's very important. Okay, so the thing with Nipsey Hussle, what I want to do is lay out this idea, this thought. When Nipsey died, a lot of people, for good reason, for legitimate reason, for valid reason, mourned his death. A lot of people talked about it. A lot of people, went out of their way to express appreciation for the wonderful work that Nipsey Hussle has done for black people. They went and, we were talking about how great he was and all the great stuff that he did. People were bumping his music sometimes for the first time, which is okay. I mean, it's all right. I mean, you can't, there's too many rappers. It's hard to keep up with what every rapper is putting out. Black people, we have an oversupply of rappers. Like, I'm just be honest. Rappers are brilliant, talented, we're the best in the world at it, but we can't have every black boy want to be a rapper or a basketball or football player. Like you can't sustain an economy that way. You need some engineers, you need some entrepreneurs, you need some people in there that are, gonna go out and do other things. You need scientists, you need lawyers, doctors. You don't need everybody want to be a rapper or an athlete. White people were the ones who did this because white supremacy, what it does is it only feeds you images through media of successful black men as athletes or entertainers. So every black boy wants to be a rapper or a basketball player when some of y'all just don't need to be. Nipsey was a great rapper, but every rapper ain't a great rapper. There's a lot of rappers out here that don't need to be rapping. They don't need to be rapping nothing. They need to be, maybe wrapping up that college degree so they can go ahead and get them a position somewhere, or maybe wrapping up that entrepreneurial training so they can go start them a company, right? But they don't need to be rapping nothing, right? They can't even rap a Christmas present. So ultimately, we have an oversupply of rappers, and it's not good for the community. We need entrepreneurs. The number one thing black people need in our community is job creators. That's the number one thing black people need in our community is job creators. The number one thing black people need in our community are job creators. Did I say that 3 times? I think I said it 3 times because the shit is really important. It's really important for us to understand this. Get this through our thick head. Like my mom would say, get this through your thick head. Through our thick heads, we must understand that we don't need more jobs. We don't need to go and talk to a politician about how more white people can hire us. We don't need necessarily more reparations. I'm not saying reparations isn't important. I'm not saying I don't support reparations, but reparations ain't gonna save us. Getting a big check for $1 trillion ain't gonna do nothing but lead to a bunch of companies getting a bunch of money when they sell us a bunch of hair weaves and sneakers or whatever, right? Instead, we need job creators, because job creators create jobs for black people. Most ethnicities are hired by other people in their own ethnic group. Chinese people are hired by Chinese. Arabs are hired by Arabs. Jews are hired by Jews more than anybody else. Black people, the only group that can't create their own jobs. So that's what we need, job creators. Stacy Betts, I want to say thank you very much for your donation. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much, sister. That money will go right back into the community. Anybody else who wants to support intelligent Black media, you can go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. We would really love to have you as a patron. I promise you, as a patron, you will get access to financial literacy training. You'll get access to special meetings, meet and greets, things like that, digital that we have. We do a lot of things for our patrons. So if you want to support and we could use your support, you can go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. That's our Patreon account. Okay, so a few things about Nipsey are, look, I see a lot of mourning. I saw a lot of people expressing, symbolism. Black people are very big on symbolism. We have a symbolism addiction. Symbolism is like symbolism was pretty much the Obama presidency. The reason that they didn't pass any policies on your behalf, the reason they didn't do hardly anything substantive for you, the reason the wealth gap got wider under Obama, the reason Black unemployment got worse under Obama, the reason that home ownership and all these other factors that really matter got worse under Obama is because they had very few policies for you that were going to really address racial inequality. Instead, what they said was Black people just like symbolism. Black people have low self-esteem. Black people need somebody to tell them that they're worthy, because Black people don't believe that they're worthy. Black people believe that they are worthless. And because Black people believe that they are worthless, then we can get away with giving them something that has no value. We can get away with distributing what Dr. Claude Anderson refers to as the doctrine of unequal exchange. The doctrine of unequal exchange is where I give you something valuable, you give me something valuable, I give you something that's completely worthless. And the reason I can get away with giving you something completely worthless is because all you really need is for me to tell you that you're a good person. It's like if somebody goes and they're playing in a basketball game and they're playing against, let's say a great player like a Michael Jordan or something like that. If they're playing against Michael Jordan, back in the day, all the young guys love Michael Jordan. They looked up to him and all that stuff. So the way Michael would play him is Michael would basically say, okay, this guy is a fan. He's so busy being a fan of mine that he's not going to compete with me. So because a guy walks up, he's like, yeah, Mr. Jordan, I just want you to know I really admire you, and I've been following you since I was a little kid, and I always wanted to be like you. So you know what Michael would do? Michael would take the person under their wing, and he'd say, oh, well, nice to meet you too. It's very good friends with you. And he'd make friends with them on the court. And then he would go out and torch their ass for 50 points because you're too busy admiring him and watching the show that you don't actually understand the importance of actually competing with him, right? So the really good players, the players that actually were able to play against Michael and win, were the guys who said, not only do I not give a shit that you're Michael Jordan, I don't need you to tell me I'm a good basketball player because I already know that. I don't need you to be my friend right now. We're going to compete. We could be friends after the game is over because right now I'm going to shut you down. Right, those are the guys that were able to compete with Jordan, but the ones who spent all their time in the Michael Jordan fan club were never able to actually compete and actually able to play against him. So Byron Hall says Allen Iverson wasn't going for that. Exactly. So for Black people, y'all need to stop admiring white folks like that. Like y'all need to stop looking to your oppressor to tell you that you are a relevant human being. Like stop looking for them to tell you that you're worthy. You are worthy. Stop looking for them to acknowledge you and give you a seat at the table and all these other silly things that you claim to be looking for. You don't need a seat at the table. You can build a table, right? Stop waiting for them to give you awards and Oscars and Emmys and Grammys and Pulitzers and all these other made up awards that make you feel better about yourself, whether it's Employee of the Year or the Nobel Prize. We really spend a lot of time trying to get white people to acknowledge us and to tell us that we're good enough. Well, the downside of that is that what happens is they say, oh, well, we don't actually have to give you substance. We can just give you symbolism because that's what you need. Did you know when they did that video, Ebony made a video a long time ago. Ebony Magazine made a video called How to Sell to the Negro. And one of the points they basically made in so many words is that if you just give Black people symbolism, they will give you money. If you just make them feel good about themselves, if you just tell them that you're happy, that you like them, and that they're good people, then they're going to give you their money. Basically, they say we're economic hoes. If you think about it, what is a hoe? If you say people think about a thought or a hoe, some young girl who gets sucked into prostitution. Well, are you better able to get somebody to be your hoe or your prostitute if they have high self-esteem or if they have low self-esteem? Answer that question. Which will make you more likely to be a hooker? The woman with high self-esteem or the one with low self-esteem? Well, it's low self-esteem. It's low self-esteem, right? Well, for Black people, we become economic hoes in America, where we're working for other people, serving other people, doing everything for other people, building wealth for other people because we have low self-esteem. Like if you think about it, the way how does a pimp get a young lady to be his hooker, to get on the street corner in 20-degree weather in a mini skirt for him? He goes up and he gives her something she never had. He pays her a compliment, right? He's like, well, baby, you are so pretty. You are gorgeous. And she's like, oh, thank you, right? Or maybe he goes out and buys her a little, a little something to eat. Maybe gets her a little fur coat. Oh, girl, you look good in that coat. I can get you a whole lot more if you just help me go out here and make some money, right? And so basically, Black people get pimped because our self-esteem is not intact. So, but once your self-esteem is intact, you don't need somebody to validate you. So I think that for Black people, a lot of times, we focus on the symbolism over the substance because our self-esteem is low, and we need the symbolism to make us feel better about ourselves. How does this relate to the Nipsey Hussle situation? Everything always comes back. I know I break it down. I break it down for you in detail in ways that nobody else does, and sometimes it takes a while. So people with horrible attention spans should not be here. People that are not trying to be intelligent should not be here. People that want simple bullshit should probably not be here either, right? This is for intelligent Black people. So that's why my audience. I don't want my audience to be too big. I want intelligent people here. How does that relate to Nipsey Hussle? Well, with Nipsey's death, all you saw was symbolism. If you went through, I was scrolling through my Instagram, every other picture was a Nipsey Hussle picture. It was a picture of him as an angel. It was a picture of him with Lauren London. It was a Nipsey Hussle speech. It was imagery of the basketball court, the big, beautiful basketball court that they created for Nipsey Hussle. And I thought all that was great. But it was just kind of like, okay, I'm like, okay, now I see the limo at the memorial. I see thousands of people at the Staples Center. I see all kinds of people talking about how great he was and how much they loved him, and people sad and people crying, and a letter from Barack Obama, and all these other things, right? Just kind of just scrolling down. I'm like, okay, and it's nice. I mean, it's cool. It's a nice, mad respect. It's great. But I was sort of like, it hit me. I said, wait a minute, we have all this symbolism, but where's the substance? What did Nipsey represent? Was Nipsey all about talk, or was Nipsey about action? Was Nipsey about emotion, or was Nipsey about strategy? Was Nipsey about whining, crying, and feeling emotional, or was Nipsey about building something? Right? Nipsey was a builder. Nipsey was a person that Nipsey was a guy that wanted to create something and build something and make something better. Now, Corey says, I don't think boys get what Nipsey symbolizes to street culture. That's not true, man. Come on, man. Stop it. Stop thinking that because I'm a professor, I don't know the street. Man, my homeboy got shot in the head in front of his daughter. Like I was born in the projects. Like I know what it's like to be broke. So let's stop that shit right now. Let's quit that bullshit about, oh, well, you're a professor, you don't understand the street culture. I know more about the street culture than probably 95% of the people in this room. I study everything. I've been in a lot of spaces that you can't even imagine, and so I understand a lot of this. I don't know everything now. I don't know everything, but I know enough to know enough to know enough. Oh, and I know, and the other thing with Nipsey Hussle, I did not know Nipsey in life. We were not friends in terms of talking to each other. However, I'd be willing to bet you Nipsey knew about me because we both have for many years talked about economic empowerment. I've been doing this for 20 something years, and I've been very consistent with it. And I know Nipsey and I both supported the Jay Morrison Tulsa Real Estate Fund. When I announced that I was going to give 10,000 to the fund, I saw Nipsey also did the same thing, and I thought that was honorable of him. So here's the deal. Look, symbolism is great. The feel good moments, fine, no problem with that. But after the symbolism is done, you must have substance. If you have no substance, then your symbolism disappears. It's like poof. It becomes a moment. Right, and it becomes something where it becomes like Nipsey moves into the space of Aaliyah or Tupac or Biggie, where if you look at Aaliyah, not so much Tupac, but if you look at Aaliyah and Biggie, all they are pretty much are these memories. There's lots of art to remember commemorating them. Lots of respect that they have in the community, but there isn't a whole lot of substance there. Like can you show me? I don't know. some $100 million corporate development that creates thousands of jobs for black people that came from the legacy of Biggie Smalls? Can you show me that somebody has made $1 billion from Aaliyah's powerful brand that she had before she died, right? Is it the family? Is it the community, right? With Nipsey Hussle, what I think should be seen is a $250 million business development complex, maybe business incubators all around the country in the name of Nipsey Hussle. The Nipsey Hussle Powernomics development centers all throughout the United States, right? Where you have young brothers off the street being trained. I'm talking about 100,000 black men and women being trained on how to own businesses, being trained on how to make investments in stocks and bonds and crypto, being trained on, all aspects of real estate, right? And here's the thing. This could be created if we took that energy. Thank you, Lakeem Muhammad, for your support. I appreciate that. I want to make sure I let you. I want to acknowledge you. Thank you, brother. I appreciate the donation. Thank you so much. Um, I will say this. I think that when you look at all this emotional energy, where everybody feels like, okay, I'm all about Nipsey Hussle right now. Even people that didn't know him, they read about him and they admired what he did, so they started talking about him too. But a lot of these people, these same people, if it was a week before Nipsey died and you said, there's this guy Nipsey Hussle out west, he's doing great work. You should go support him somehow. A lot of those people wouldn't have been interested. They would have been like, oh yeah, another rapper. Who cares, right? That's what people would probably do. But it's okay though. But my point is that if you've got all this emotional energy bottled up, if you got all this, internet chatter, etc., well, that's an opportunity for you to actually build something that's lasting, build a lasting legacy. And so my thought was, where is the $100 million community development fund that could be created that would go in and make strategic, profitable investments in the land and property all around Nipsey's community? See, this is one of the reasons why I'm not going to say that there wasn't a conspiracy in terms of, how Nipsey died. Maybe somebody plotted for him to be killed. It's possible. It happens all the time. But if people were plotting to kill him to get his land, that doesn't make any sense to me, because you don't get somebody's land just by killing them. The land goes to the heir. The land goes to the person in the estate plan. The land goes to whoever the person designates in the will. It's not going to go to the killer. They're not going to be like, oh, well, you killed him, so you get the property. This ain't Game of Thrones. This ain't old ancient Egypt. Like it don't work like that. So that's what didn't make sense to me. But then also, another reason why it doesn't make sense that somebody could get his land because they killed him is because, if the community like centered around him, if the community like closed ranks and raised $100 million to say, we're going to buy up every damn thing in this area. We got this, 3 square miles, and we're just going to buy all of this, then that won't happen. Right. So think about this. When the movie The Black Panther came out, let me tell you this, when the movie The Black Panther came out and black people got all emotional, again, more symbolism. We love the symbolism, right? When the movie The Black Panther came out, do you know how much money Disney grossed off of this movie and how much money they made off of black people? Guess how much money the movie Black Panther made. Let me see. I'm looking at box office mojo. I'm looking this up. Hit the thumbs up button while I look this up. Domestically, the movie made $700 million. Worldwide, it made $1.3 billion. $1.3 billion. Now, when you look at domestic box office of $700 million, you can't tell me at least half of that didn't come from black people. The Black Panther became required viewing for every black person in America, right? If a black person did not see Black Panther, people would be like, you didn't see Black Panther? You don't know my Killmonger joke? You don't know, the characters in Black Panther? What's wrong with you, right? We literally got sucked into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I'm not even dissing that because Marvel makes great movies. But I'm just sitting there trying to figure out, black people, how come you can raise $350 million to give away as a donation to Disney, but you can't raise $100 million for your homeboy that you love to make an investment that's going to impact your community for the next 20 generations? Hear me. Are you hearing me? Are you talk black to me? Somebody tell me that you hear what I'm saying. I'm not talking to myself. Do you understand this? How is it that you can raise 350 to 500 million? Because remember, it wasn't just black people domestically that saw this movie. Black people around the world saw the movie. Black people in London saw the movie. Black people in Jamaica saw the movie. Black people living in Europe saw the movie. Black people in all parts of Africa saw the movie. So tell me, black people, how is it that you can raise about $500 million for Disney as a donation to a bunch of white people who will never care about you, who ain't said Nipsey Hussle's name, who don't know who Nipsey Hussle is, don't care who Nipsey Hussle was, but you can't raise 100 million for something that can impact that community for the next 300 years. I'm not just talking about like something that would happen, that would be a flash, a moment in time. If black folks raised $100 million for Crenshaw to buy property in Crenshaw, that's a multi-billion dollar move. That property will be worth over $1 billion in this generation. 2 generations down the line, 3 generations down the line, you're talking about a $10 billion power play. So what I'm trying to tell you is this. And I'm gonna go into more details on this. Some of you may say, well, why don't you do it, Dr. Boyce? Why don't you raise the money, do the fund? The reason I don't want to do it is because I don't want to give people the impression that I'm trying to use Nipsey Hussle's name to go out here and raise a bunch of money for what I'm doing. I don't have the right to use his name. I have mad respect for the people in LA. I got a lot of support in LA. When I walk down the street in LA, I get stopped by brothers all the time, and women as well. And I appreciate every single one of them, and I love them so much. And I have a mad respect for the Crips and Bloods down there that are really trying to rebuild. I have mad respect for all the people in South Central. So I'm not a guy that's going to run out here and say, give the money to me. I'm raise 100 million in the name of Nipsey Hussle. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to get into any beefs with the family where, like the Reggie Bush situation where they're like, please do not raise this money, blah, blah, blah. But what I am saying is I'm calling on somebody, with the right connect to do it. And I'm also offering my support. First of all, I'll be one of the first people to make a donation. It won't be no $2. It'll be a substantial donation, substantial enough to let you know that I'm serious, that I'm a man of my word. I'm not just yapping. Number 2, I will offer free marketing to the group that is raising this money, as long as I know that this money is going to go to a place that is beneficial to the community. So whether it's the Nation of Islam in LA raising that money, or it's some brothers, down that are in that area raising the money, or some sisters, or whatever, whoever's raising the money, I will support that, right? So that's what I'm saying. And now remind you, this is very different from some of the other conversations, like where people have had conversations about raising money for Nipsey's kids. I'm like, Nipsey, I assume Nipsey, being financially intelligent, had life insurance. His kids don't need your money. Nipsey Hussle was worth $8 million. Lauren London's worth $8 million. They don't need your money. Lauren London gets child support payments from Lil Wayne and from the Nipsey Hussle estate. She don't need your money. I'm sure they had an estate plan in place to pass all that, the millions of dollars in property down to the kids. They don't need your money. So I don't even know where this idea came that we need to, like people were all excited because they said Jay-Z created this $15 million fund for Nipsey's kids. Just the nature of such a bogus, ridiculous rumor and the fact that it went mega viral online really is a reminder of how many of us are very quick to embrace, flashy, almost ignorant substance, in the sense, not that they're ignorant people, but it's almost like silly. It's like, oh my God, Jay-Z, he's so wonderful, because we worship celebrities, right? And nobody stops to say, why would anybody raise $15 million for the children of a wealthy celebrity? Like they in the struggle. No, raise money for them kids in South Central who can't eat every day. Raise money for them kids. Do what Dr. Dre should have done, and go in there. And Dr. Dre should have took every penny he gave to USC. He should have gave that to South Central. Every penny. I don't care. I'm a little bit stubborn on this. I don't care if Dr. Dre had only given $2 million to USC and gave another $50 million to South Central. No, South Central should have got $52 million. Like every penny that he gave USC should have went back to the hood, because without the hood, Dr. Dre would not be who he is. I think Dr. Dre should be ashamed of that. So anyway, let me just say this, and this is what my point I'm making in summary is that, I think that when you talk about Nipsey's life, Nipsey was about power. He was about building. He was about action. He was about substance. He was about wealth. And I think the best way you can show respect to a man or woman or anybody is to continue the legacy of what they started in life. Now, I did see that beautiful basketball court that somebody built with Nipsey's image on it, which is going to give us lots of touchy feely emotions when we go play basketball. But I told you guys, I mean, Nipsey was not a basketball player. Maybe he played basketball, but that he was not a professional basketball player. Nipsey was a wealth builder. So right next to that basketball court, I would argue, we should have $1 million or more, a million just for that one project, some sort of economic incubator where you got people in there that are learning all the principles, the economic principles that Nipsey stood for. Again, the three pillars of wealth we talk about in the Black Business School. One, every Black child in America should know how to start a business by the age of 12. White folks are not going to hire you, especially if you're a brother coming out of Crenshaw. White people don't give you shit. White people don't give you no opportunity. That's why they locked up Nipsey's homeboy who had just got out of prison after 20 years, because they don't want you as part of their economic system. They want to kill you, or they want to lock you up. They do not want to help you. So these brothers need to learn how to start businesses so they can find ways to create their own jobs. Number two, every Black child should know how to buy shares of stock by the age of 12. That is a rite of passage. That should be something they should do before they're even considered to be a man. You should not be considered to be a man if you do not know how to earn income like a man, right? Number three, every Black child should know the basics of buying a home by the age of 12. Doesn't mean you have to be an expert, just means you got to know the basics. You got to know the importance of ownership. Nipsey talked about the land that he used to, where he used to go, and they used to run him off the property, and then he was a renter, and then he and his brother became owners. That comes from a culture, that comes from a mindset. That comes from, so just and never let anybody tell you there's no such thing as a poverty versus wealthy mindset. Check it out. If Nipsey had had a poverty mindset, you know what Nipsey would have done? He would have been renting in those buildings instead of owning, because he would have felt that renting is just as good as owning. But Nipsey did not have that mindset. He had a wealth mindset. He had a power move mindset, right? So what I'm saying to you is that if you look at South Central, a community that has been hit by massive government conspiracies. Like, I don't even know if there was a government conspiracy behind Nipsey's murder, but I know there's a government conspiracy in the destruction of South Central, and I know that there was a government conspiracy in the creation of the conditions under which Nipsey was killed. That part has been confirmed. Given that that's the case, I think South Central is a community that's been consistently under siege, and as a result of it being under siege, you need economic power moves in that community that will help them to overcome the fact that they're in the middle of a war. They've always been in the middle. It's always been a war zone, not just physically, not just with gang banging and people getting killed for no reason, but I'm talking about economically, I'm talking about politically, I'm talking about psychologically, I'm talking about spiritually, I'm talking about in terms of the family. Like they've been ground zero for so many horrible things that happen in our community. And I think the best way to fight that will be to raise $100 million to build a complex in that community, or build some business, buy some property and businesses in that community, and really, really hold it down. Emotional energy should not be wasted. Black people, when you wailing, oh my God, I was so sad all day, and I was just, I've been feeling like this and feeling like that, and then blah, 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 blah. I mean, that's fine. Like, we love to do that. Like, we fall out at the funeral, we climb in the casket with the dead body, we draw pictures of the person that died, and that's all good. Those are nice emotional expressions of grief. But at some point, you got to take that energy and put it somewhere. Like, don't just, you don't want to just bottle it in, because that it'll kill you. But you just let it out. It's wasted. It's like steam. If you just let steam out, steam is just going to go in the air and dissipate. But steam can also power a motherfucking locomotive. Do you know that? Like, enough steam can generate electricity, if I'm not mistaken. Like, steam can be used as a source of power. So this emotional steam that we have in our hearts because of the death of Nipsey Hussle, it can either just be let out, where it just dissipates and goes up into the wind, to the atmosphere, and goes away, or it can be used to power an economic locomotive. It can be used for a power move that is remembered for the next 300 years. So make a decision. And if anybody knows of anybody who's doing something that is authentic, that can be validated, where they're raising significant amounts of money to go and make an economic power move in that community, email me. I'll support the initiative. We'll investigate, make sure it's legit. But I don't want to do nothing that's going to undermine what the family's doing. I would like for the family to do it. If the family does it, then it's all good. I can give the money, and ain't gonna be no conflict about who's doing what and all that. But if it's not the family, it should be somebody that's trusted by the family. Maybe Nation of Islam, can step in if they get the trust from the world, from the community. But somebody got to make a move. Somebody got to write a damn check. Seriously. Like I mean, I'm not into just mourning death. Like, I'm a man. Men don't just sit around and cry all day. Men go out and fight battles. I'm a soldier, goddamn it. So are you a soldier, or are you a bitch? That's literally the black man's question in this generation, and for the next 400 years, that's the black man's question. Are you a soldier, or are you a bitch? If you're a bitch, then just go sit over there with the bitches, be a bitch. And we'll go and we'll let the real men go out here and fight. So and I'm really talking to the men right now. I'm not talking to everybody, and I'm not using bitch in a gender specific term. I'm using it in terms of of whether you are a builder or if you are just a whiner. We don't need whiners. We have enough whining in our community. We need builders. So anyway, that's it. I'm done. Do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that. If you know of any fund that I can support that is authentic and legitimate, please email manager@boycewatkins.com. That's manager@boycewatkins.com. Also, please make sure you subscribe to drboycetv.com. Excuse me, we're on iTunes now. So download on iTunes, subscribe. Everybody subscribe on iTunes. And last but not least, if you want a free copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, you can get a free e-copy of that book by going to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. All right, guys. So I'm out of here. Please have a good day. And it was fun talking to you. I'll see you later. Take care. Peace.